The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody, on this brisk Melbourne morning, 0 degrees as I've just dropped the children off to school. So, yeah, nice and brisk. So, wherever you are, hopefully you've been up early making the most of it. It is a gorgeous morning, sun streaming down in Melbourne City here. So, wherever you're coming, I'm coming to you and the rest of Australia. Hope your morning's, you're really energized and you're ready to kick off the week. I know it's a big difference how it is these days when you do run your own business as opposed to the employee mindset that we had back in the day when you're working for someone else. Sunday night and Monday morning used to be a horrible time for a lot of people. That feeling of dread that they have to go back somewhere that they're really not going to enjoy and they're not going to want to be. So hopefully that you are in a spot where you're, as I said, you're excited and you're ready to go for the week. Can I just get a quick shout out from somebody here that you can see the screen that I'm coming through nice and clearly? And you can certainly give you a bit of a buzz. Let me know where you are. Hey there, I am from Adair. I'm from Melbourne, so we're down in Melbourne town, nice and clearly. Yep, Andrew can hear me all good. Thank you for that, guys. Marcy, yep, brilliant. So they just wanted to make sure there's nothing worse than talking to yourself, because in these type of chats, yes, you can tend to seem as though you are talking to yourself a bit, but we will make it a little bit interactive where possible. I'm going to be asking you guys a few questions, see where you're at, what you're up to for the week, and what you're wanting to get out of it. So let's have a little bit of a rundown of how things are going. So there are a few new faces here on the call, which is great. So just a very quick update on where we are for the group. So, Elaine, you're up nice and early in Perth. Good morning. I know you're an early riser, but wow, yes, you had a nice early start over there. So the group is now, it's really, over the last week, it has been a lot of great quality threads on there. So I'm enjoying seeing that. We probably had less people post last week, but the people that were posting some really great content. So always, if you are wanting to make the most of the group, make sure you are getting involved in some of these threads. Don't just be vanilla. Definitely have an opinion. One of the worst things that I see, so just a little tip, is it's certainly not about going in and hijacking people's threads on our group, but it's about contributing a life experience, or it's about sharing your own opinion or your own expertise on some of these threads. It really does set yourself up as the authority figure in your niche, and it can open yourself up to other conversations. If you've had a comment or you've put something on someone else's post, you can start your own thread too. Start your own opinion. Yes, we have our theme days, but any time that you do want to just ask a question or just contribute some valuable information, either Nat or I or the other admins that we've got in the group, they're going to leave that post up because they know it's high quality. It's not a self-promoting post. So it's about the quality of the conversations that you're having. And that's also very important for you to remember that in your offline world as well. Make sure you're getting involved in some really high quality conversations because it's going to grow you as a person. We don't just need to sit on superficial conversations all of the time. Over the last week, Nat had a Sydney tour, so we launched. She was up there for her own events as well, but we launched our Ultimate Business Support Sydney event for the first time on Saturday afternoon. So that was well attended for the first time. Samantha Chambers did a great job of hosting it for the first time, along with Robert Curry, who gave a great talk up there, and Natasa as well. So they had a venue that was a bit cold, so they will look at other venues up there. This was in the west of Sydney where they ran it this time. So we're always open for looking at other venues up there, and we're in conversations as well to see if we can make it a little bit more central. So we can keep an eye out for the next Sydney Ultimate Business Support Live Networking event. So for those of you in Sydney, it's going to be on the 25th of August. So it's the same. So that'll be coming up soon, and I've got some more details about that later. Adelaide's still going strong. This month for Melbourne, actually might just flick there now quickly. Come on. This month for Melbourne, we're actually, we're combining our normal Ultimate Business Support Networking event with one that's it's actually running nationally. So it's Australia's largest networking event. So we're going to kind of said, we've been asked to host this. for the lady that's organising it, because she doesn't have a big community down in Melbourne. So we'll invite all of our regulars along, and it's going to be promoted. They're promoting it externally, so they're hoping to get a big crowd there on the morning. It's down in Port Melbourne, so for those of you in Melbourne, it's an 8 o'clock start. It's going to go for 2 hours. And they're raising money for some charity as well. But if you can see the link on there, if you actually just went to Australia's largest networking event.com, you'll actually be able to find the details of that and whereabouts in your own city, because as I said, they are running it nationally, whereabouts in your own city you're going to be able to get tickets and come along to that. I think they're about $30, so not a huge amount in investment. So that's a little bit about the updates about what we've had going on for the last week. What I wanted to get into this morning is some content just about how you go about structuring your week, each daily, even your daily tasks, how you go about doing that, because so many people have got different ways of doing it. A lot work and a lot don't work. And one of the things that Natasa and I get asked a lot of the time is, how do you do what you do with your 3 young kids, with everything that you're doing? You seem to have your fingers in a lot of pies, which isn't as much now. We're really just focusing on Ultimate 48-Hour Author and a few of our own clients. But it really is common question. How do you guys do what you need to do? Now, one of the biggest things that we have utilized now for quite some time is actually breaking down your daily tasks into chunks and actually completing specific tasks during a certain chunk of time. So rather than we all start with our standard list. Now, we've utilized the Mary Kay thing, which is just the 6. If you want to look that up, Mary Kay, Miracles Happen. That was a book. She's from Mary Kay Cosmetics. If you're not familiar with her, there's a long story which we won't have time to go into now. But basically, she operates on having 6 things on a to-do list. So the night before you finish up for the day, make sure you're writing down the 6 things that you need to accomplish for the next day, putting the number ones, putting them in prioritized order. So the most important things up the top. And of course, when you get to the next day, you want to make sure that you do that thing that you've either been putting off or that has got the highest priority. Now, the highest priority, someone says, well, what is the highest priority in my business? So generally, the highest priority is the thing that brings you closest to money. So many people new in their business in their first 12 months focus on things that they believe they're actually superficial, but they believe, or they keep telling themselves they're important, because it means if they had to do the things that were really important, which might be follow up with that customer, that potential client that said they might want to work with you, the one that you sent some information onto, generally all the things that we actually go, oh, they're a little bit scary to do. So do that first thing, get it over and done with. I'm sure you've all heard that topic, the term eat the frog. It's well overused, but it is the thing. Do that first thing on your list. Then work your way through your remainders. But we took it one step further. So rather than just have 6 things on the list, one of the things today, so I'm a half day in the business because I'm with my 2 daughters today. I'm fully immersed on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. Nat's doing Monday to Thursday. And then we have sort of the Friday, Saturday, Sundays off. So what I have done today is, one of my tasks, I need to get a couple of articles written. So rather than just have the articles written and have that on my to-do list, I actually block off a time in the day. So I say, okay, between, let's say, 1 and 3 o'clock, that is my time where I'm actually going to do that. So I'm very focused, not just trying to find time or let the day dictate to me what's going on. I'll actually be very specific with, okay, between this time and this time. Now, yes, I'm fortunate. My kids are very structured, that I know what time the little one, the 8-month-old, will sleep. But we did bring that about with them as well. People always say, you guys are lucky. You're lucky. You're lucky your kids sleep. You're lucky you've got support. It's not that we're lucky. It's that we actually went out and set the intention and did everything in our power to make it happen. So we taught our daughter to sleep. We know the other one knows that during this time that I'm working today, that she's got activities to do. So for the rest of the day, I'm fully involved with her. So it's not all about luck all of the time. It's you become successful in business through creating structure around what you're doing, having an intention what you're going to do. But then intentions are just that, unless you actually then take the next step, which is the action steps. So it's actually doing it. So if I just had, and how we used to operate 3 or 4 years ago, those things would have just been tasks on the to-do list for the day. And as I said, that becomes very, very hard, and people tend to procrastinate a lot more because they're looking at the 6 things on their list, or if people have done different lists and different styles. I've had a conversation with someone last week that literally had 30 or 40 things on a to-do list. And I'm like, that is just so overwhelming. Could you imagine what the brain is going to do if you sit down at your desk or wherever it might be, kitchen table if you're running a home business, or in the office, and you're looking at this thing and there's 40 things on the list? What do you think the brain is going to automatically do? It's going to shut down, and you're going to procrastinate for so long just getting started before you even pick what you're going to do. So keeping it to SIST works really well. I know that there are a lot of businesses that might have 40 things that need to get done, especially if you're in startup or if you're on the way to launching a new product, or you've got a big project that needs completion. But a much better way of doing it is actually having a brain dump. So getting all of those things down. So they might go on a large, whether you use a whiteboard, chalkboard. Oh, geez, that's showing my age. Okay, maybe no one will be using a chalkboard, a whiteboard, or a big A3 sheet of paper, and having all of these things down. So a tip that I'd like to give you guys, and this is one I learned a little while ago, if you have your 2 A3 or A4, depending on how many tasks and how many projects you've got going on, the first one on it, we just call it, say it's on your far left-hand side if you're sitting at a desk looking at it. They're basically your big picture things. So one of them might be, I'll use an easy example, write a book. So that might be a big picture thing as one of them. Then as part of those components, well, you can't just write a book. You need to work out your steps about it. So if you're not going through a program like ours, one of them might be, you might set aside, write chapter 1. So research and write chapter 1. So you'd pull that across from your grand plan, then break it down into the next, so chunk it down. So your next step, write chapter 1. Now, that can then come into an actually doing task rather than it being this whole daunting write a book in front of you. You just see on your action task, write chapter 1. Same thing, it might be over there. It might be write an article. So write an article to promote your business, might be sitting on your grand over list. But what sort of things would you need to do? So you write an article, but then your next steps that you might be on your action list after you've written it might be inquire about where you can get it published. So research and find some media connections that you can send it off to. Might have been coming up with some content about it. Then you need time to actually do your follow-ups. So when you submit it, don't just submit the article off and hope for the best. Ring up the media outlet, ring up the publication and say, look, I sent through an idea or sent through an article. I'd like to discuss just to make sure you've got it. Are there any questions you had on it? Things like that. So it's all about just breaking your bigger tasks down into smaller tasks, really understanding what is going to get you to stop procrastinating, because procrastination is one of the real big killers in business, early on in business. People just sit on things, and Monday morning they're excited, they're ready for the week. They'll go down to their office and they'll sit there and I'll just grab a coffee first because got to have coffee. Hence our virtual coffee chat this morning. All right, had my coffee. Now, let me just go quickly. I'll just go and have a look what happened on Facebook and just see if there's anything that's going on in my group. And I might write some posts on my personal page, or I might interact in a few groups. So you do that, and then they're looking and, all right, now, what was the thing on my list again? Call that client, see if they're going to do up my program. Maybe it's still too early. I won't ring the client. It's not really nice to ring before 10 o'clock. They're talking themselves out of the things that are getting them closer to sales. And that's the hardest bit. It's the actual doing, and because it's the fear of rejection. And again, every human carries that in some form. It's been bred into us. Our whole generations, or actually from further back than that. We don't want to be rejected. We don't want to be seen to be away from the herd and not that one in there. So a lot of people struggle with that. So it's just knowing, okay, reframe it and say, well, every no that I get brings me closer to my next yes, because it can be a numbers game in business. If you've got 40 no's, well, I would be suggesting that you start to look at one your sales process, and then 2, your product. So is what you're actually promoting and selling not something that other people need? If you know from research and that it is something that people need, and you've seen other people selling a similar or same product, program, insert whatever it is that you've got in here, you really need to then look at how you are promoting and selling it. Because bottom line is we are all selling. We're either selling ourselves or we're selling our program. We're selling a solution to our clients and potential clients' problems. So if you keep getting no's, you know what? One of the most courageous, but one of the most proactive and generally gets the best response is those people that are saying no to you. Yes, I know this is going to be hard, but actually ask them. You made the inquiry with me, because if someone generally makes an inquiry with you, or they opt in on your website, or they subscribe to your newsletter, or they've wanted to have a chat qualifying or an information chat with you, I should say, make sure that you ask them, okay, so thank you. I appreciate, understand and respect that you've decided not to go ahead with, insert thing here. Just for my own feedback and personal growth or business growth, can I ask what it was that where you didn't see the value in it, or why you decided to go with product this instead of what I was selling? Because generally, the potential clients or the person that you had pitched to or you'd formed a relationship with will actually be more than happy to give you some feedback, because not many people ask for feedback these days. And to be honest, most people like the sound of their own voice. So if you turn it back on them and you're asking them, what was it about this that made it not attractive to you? Did you not see the value was high enough perceived value? Did I not have the confidence in what I was selling? Did you feel as though your needs weren't going to get met? Did you feel that it wasn't personal enough, that it was just going to be, it was online and you wanted to do something more in person with somebody? So if you have a little list of questions that you can then ask, and don't ask any more than 3 or 4, you really should be able to answer more than that. You should be able to get answers from what you're doing if it's hitting the market well, from asking about 3 or 4 of those questions to people. But it's very, very powerful. And I would really suggest that you guys, if you've got the courage, or even if you don't, make that one of your things that you're going to. You're going to get you put, as Kerwin Ray says, leave your ego at the door. Just get it out of the way, and just ask those questions, because what it might do is it might be the difference between you. I know we've got a lot of people on the call here that are still in their own jobs and they're transitioning. So it might mean the difference between you staying in a job that you hate, or getting your business from, making your first sale, or getting your business to your 5 figures, and then getting your business to your 6 figures, and then multiples, and going up like that. If the pain's, Nat and I have a saying, if the pain's not bad enough, we're generally not going to take any action. We're just going to call it, a hobby, or we're just going to say that, yeah, things are okay. I'm getting by. I get the weekends off, or I get whatever I want out of it. Or yes, things, I want it to be better, and I keep saying I want to grow, or I want to have more speaking opportunities. But it's really not, the pain's not there. It's not as if I've put it out there on every one of my social networks that I'm going to be speaking on stage by whatever month, and that that people are going to be looking at you and thinking, well, why haven't you done it? There can be some pain that way. So it comes down to another point that I wanted to share with you guys. It's about making sure that you are accountable. Who are you accountable to? Because so many people say, I'm committed to myself, and I've decided to do this, and I'm going to keep myself accountable. But we know that if something else comes up, the accountability that we have to ourselves is nowhere near as strong as the accountability that we have for others. So that's why our Ultimate 48-Hour Author Program works so well, because people, when they come away to a retreat, they become accountable to everyone else that's there. Not only are they accountable to themselves, to Nat and myself, but they're also accountable to everyone else there. They've said that they're going to commit and they're going to have a date. They might commit to a group book launch. So you can see when they're actually making a commitment to somebody else, that becomes very powerful. So one of the things that I suggested, and I'm not sure if Nat had done it the last 2 weeks, but actually just write down, or if you want to have a little bit more of a conversation, otherwise just write it down in the chat box. What is something that you are going to commit to doing this week that you would like to then come back next week and actually report back to Natasa and myself what it is how you actually went about achieving it? Because if you've all of a sudden got 15, 20, 30 people that you've told, yep, this is what it's going to be, this is what I'm focusing on this week, or this is what my goal is for the week, if you haven't done it, the questions that everyone else should be asking is actually not letting you off the hook and asking and saying, what was it that prevented you from doing it? Yeah? Because so many times we actually let other people off too easily. They come up with an excuse, which it's normally, I got busy, life got in the way, I had to take, my kid was sick, whatever it might be, it's an excuse. Because if it was seriously important enough to you, you would do it. There are enough hours in the day. Whenever somebody says to me, I'm busy, my first thing is, I don't believe you. Because we're all busy. Every person I know is busy. But it's what you can actually do. Can it be that you're spending that extra hour in bed? Are you still watching 2 hours of television at night? Are you procrastinating and wasting half of your day? Are you multitasking? You're switching back and forwards between two tasks rather than actually having that steely 100% focus that you are going to hit up straight away. Okay, bang. It's now, we're going to finish this. I haven't written out my to-do list or my top 6 list, so I'm going to immediately do that. Then from 10, I'm going to reshuffle my day. So rather than it just being now random like it was, between 10 and 12, I'm going to do all of the follow-up calls that I've been meaning to put off for the last week. Between 12 and 12:30, I'm going to compose an email, which is going to be a value add to my list. I'm going to have a break between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. Between 1 and 2:30, I'm going to do bang, whatever it is, all right? So really start having 100% focus on what you're going to do. And then really becomes powerful, and it is such a simple little thing. Whatever time you're shutting off for the day, go back and have a look at the list. So do you tick off your list or cross it off, whichever way you believe. If you believe crossing leaves a bad thing, tick your list. We go back to childhood and the brain likes being ticked. It's an approval thing. Once you've looked at that and you know you've done enough for the day, go to your bathroom or go wherever you've got a mirror and actually look. And you look at yourself, and that classic saying, it is there for a reason. Look at yourself, have a good look at yourself in the mirror. Actually do. You're your boss. Look at yourself and ask you the question, have I done everything today possible that I could? Did I give 100% commitment to my tasks today, to what I needed to do to take my business forwards? And you know the answer. If that person looking back at you, if you have any doubts, the answer is no, you haven't done enough. Now, this isn't about being perfect. Don't get me wrong. There are going to be days when something comes up. You might have to take your daughter to the hospital. And guess what? If that happens, your focus isn't going to be there. But if you see continual patterns of every night when you've had no excuses except for the ones that you've made yourself, have a look at that person in the mirror and stare deeply. Look, don't just look for 5 seconds. Look for a minute and ask yourself, did I do everything today possible? Did I do things that I didn't want to do? That's the other way of starting to switch the way you look at things. If people often get frozen into taking action because something inside them, you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach that it's like, oh, I just can't do that. If you get that feeling, that means you must do it. You have to do it. Because if you're not growing and stretching yourself and taking some actions that do make you uncomfortable, because I can tell you, ringing up a potential joint venture partner, or, as I said, ringing up that client that has told you last week they were going to get back to you, or the biggest one, following up people that haven't paid you. Hands up who loves doing that. Who's comfortable ringing up and asking for the money? Not a lot of people are, because money's something that we're going to cover off in one of these coming up, because we see it over and over again. And geez, I've been through my own shit with it years, even up to the last 2 years ago. Money, God, people don't value themselves. They don't charge enough. If people owe them money, they don't ask for it because, again, they come down to not valuing themselves. Oh, it's okay. I've done all this work for them, but they must be having a hard time. You're in business. You've got to start valuing yourself, what you are worth, what your product's worth. It's the experience that you have. So it really is a big thing, especially if you come from an industry. Now, a lot of people in the median world or in the psychic space, the alternative therapies businesses, they are one of the biggest groups, and I'm generalizing, guys, so don't take it out of context, but we have spoken to a lot of these people. They generally have so many issues, or the industry has so many issues with money, with charging people what they're worth, for actually saying, yep, you want to have this, but this is a business. I'm not going to do a reading on you for nothing. I'm not going to do it for cheap or for free. So I can see there's actually been a lot of comments. Yep, I can see that. That's me. So we actually might have a few in that space. So I think that we might even actually come up with a full webinar on this content, on this topic, because I think it would be valuable for a lot of people in the room, and a lot of steps that you can actually put in place to really start to overcome a lot of your money issues. We did a workshop on this maybe 18 months ago. And that was very, very well attended. So it's somewhere we haven't been for a while, but it might just be a nice little value add that we can do. Just a few of the comments are coming up. A couple of the action tasks that they're going to do. So I'm sure you guys are happy for me to read these out. Elizabeth said to get at least the first half of the workbook completed that goes to Be Self-Centered from the Girl Inside. Awesome. So that'll be the companion book, or the workshop that'll go with your book, Elizabeth. Fantastic. So you're going to commit to getting the first half of that done. So you'll be 50% completed by this time next week. Awesome. Great goal. So break that down as well, Elizabeth, just to make it even easier for you. So just a quick little tip I'll share around that one. So if you know that, and I know they might not be chapters because it's a workbook, but let's just call them that for the sake of it, parts, components, whatever we want to do. So if there's going to be 12 that go with it, focus on the 6 and then break them down. So between 10 and 12 today, I'm going to do the first part of this. Give yourself a specific time, because you haven't done it yet, or if you might not have got any of it done, you might not know how long each section's going to take. So work out how long your first section takes to complete, then 3/4 the time, or not half or 3/4 the time, and allocate that to your next lot, because it'll become a lot quicker as you're going through on there. Adair's just commented, yep, bingo, multitasking is a huge thing, especially if you're a mum, you're a wife, a husband, a partner, a parent, a business owner, an employee, a member of a sporting team, you're committed to your friend that you go walking with. You've got a lot of things that we do in this life today. Elizabeth has also written, yep, don't charge enough. If you work out just how much experience that you have right the way through and how valuable what you can add is, you really start to think. And a little quick tip, I'm respectful of everyone's time here, so just a little quick tip: don't just think of your like an hourly rate that you could charge, or how much that you believe the program's worth. Charge based on what the outcome that these people will have. So if you're coaching somebody or mentoring somebody, or you've got a program for somebody because they're too work focused, they don't have any work-life balance, okay? You might think that the program is get more balance back, reconnect, do all of these things, and you charge X amount. But you shouldn't be looking at it like that. Think about the outcome that this person might have is that they don't divorce. They don't separate. They don't break up from their partner, because they all of a sudden your program gives them awareness that they need to take some steps to go back to connecting more deeply with themselves and therefore with their partner. Okay, so that's the result that these people will get. It's not just that they're going to maybe work out how to get a better work-life balance. And what is the cost? What's the worth to that person if that they will stop going through that process of divorce, separation? Just think of it a little bit differently. What is as a result of them undertaking your program / bang, 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 whatever it might be, what is the result of them doing it, and what is that worth to the person? Because I can guarantee it will be 20, 30, 100 times more than you're actually charging for your product or service. Yeah? So hopefully that makes sense to people, and a few of you can relate that to now what the product and that you've got. Only thing you're good at is getting money up front. That's all good. Yep. Worst part's when they turn up, tell you they can't pay. Understand. So you've almost got to bring a screening part into the business as well. I understand, Elizabeth, and I won't maybe mention what you do here, but yeah, in your industry, that is definitely a hard part. So it's pre-framing and making sure that you are working with the right type of people, yeah? All right, so someone else has scheduling time into the day to laser focus on the task. They're good. Love that you're going to be doing that. Elizabeth, I get that realizing you're charging for your talent. Yeah, absolutely. You're charging for the outcomes that you're going to get for the people. Refine and practice my guest speaking speech at the Rotary meeting in 4 weeks' time. Brilliant. So, Elaine, break that down even more so that you might say you're going to practice it 3 times or 2 times for the week. Set yourself a time that you're going to do it, and then really bring that laser focus into it. That's going to give you the best guide. Narelle, outcome people will have. This is so true, and these are key sell points you should focus on. Excellent. Yep, good. Glad you like that. Who else is going to be brave enough, just before we end the call today and I finish up, who else is going to be brave enough to put up something that they want to be accountable for? Whether or not you can get back next week, let's just assume that you are. Who else would like to put something out there? Because I think it would be great. While you are coming up with that, I'll just flick quickly back about these are some of the upcoming events. If anyone is in Hobart, we are down there for the next author your blueprint for business success, which we're going to be running on 31st of July. As I said, we've got the biggest networking event Australia-wide, so you can check for your own local guides. There is Sydney as well. I just wanted to quickly touch on October the 9th, so at our new house, which we will be moving into in early September, we're running our VIP Marketing Plan Day. Okay, so this is something that we haven't even announced it out to our community as a whole as yet. We mentioned it just to our inner circle group and then just on this call last week. So this is for Melbourne only, I guess. Although we now are having someone coming down from Sydney to do this with us. So spending a complete day. You're going to be with Natasa and myself, full day, getting your year ready to go next year, setting up a full marketing plan, whether it be your events, product release, whatever it is that you might want to do. We are actually going to teach you how to do it properly. We're going to implement things on the day. So we're going to start to set it up for you, what your year is going to look like. So it's not just going to be ad hoc. You're going to have laser focus. We're talking about that again. It's a focus that you need to have to make your business next year actually do more than it's doing. So we've got 5 spots left in that group. We're only take 10 based to the size of the room because it is at about our house. So there's 5 spots left. Email that. Just jump on to Natasa. Give her an email. If you want any other questions about it, you're going to get your guide. This is how we plan out our year. We do a computerized version of this as well. But one of the strengths that we have is seeing it in front of us. This comes with us everywhere. Write it out. This is the marketing, where we are, what we're doing, where the talks are. And then in a separate style, then we actually go back where we need more information about it. So we say, okay, this is an event that we've got. The marketing plan is not just, an event is just choosing an event. Then it's working backwards from there to know the optimum time to start to market it, to get it out there, to promote it. Where do you promote it? How do you promote it? How much do you need to? Writing the content for it, writing the copy for it. Everything like that we'll be teaching you on that day, and then we're going to be implementing as much of the year as you can. So it might be your first 3 months. We'll plan out your year, but then your first 3 months we'll actually set up that strategic marketing plan for it. So that's going to be really exciting for you, for everybody there as we go. Oops, let's just go back to the main page. Come on, technology, you're a beautiful thing. It's on someone else's computer. That's all right. We can just look nicely at that. Just a few other comments. Accountable for writing up a business-to-business marketing material by Thursday. Awesome, Narelle. Very cool. Excited about that. Beautiful. And how to promote. Yeah, absolutely. Writing of the content is the hard part. It's the finer detail of how you'll get there. All of that you will learn on the day, guys. So I trust you've got some value out of this morning's chat. You've got a little bit of excitement for your week and a few things that you can implement a little bit differently that you might not have been doing before we had this chat. it's a great start to the week, and it was really, really great to bring it to you. We will switch it up sometimes when we can. Both Nat and I will be on the call, but it is always great having a couple of different perspectives, and that's one of the strengths that we've got. Nat and I do have different focuses and different strengths, so it works really well getting a little bit from both of us. So the thank yous are coming through. No need for thanks, guys. It's our pleasure doing this. But it is nice appreciating and hearing it. So until next week, guys, that is it. Have a great focus on your week ahead, and I trust that you found this valuable and hope to have you all on the call next week. All right, guys, cheers.